What are you trying though?
Mops. You know what? I actually don't hate mops because they're furry. It's arguable that makes it worse, but in my head, it's like, no, it's like a small mammal, and therefore I love you. Okay.
Oh, I wrote these instructions down so I didn't forget. Tea. And you can make somebody else feel good when you gift it to them. Hi everyone, and welcome back to a Sorry Girls video, Sorry Girl video. My name is Kelsey, and today we're going to do some quick and easy last minute DIY gifts that you can make for this holiday season. These are gifts that all of us in the office are very fond of. We are very excited. So hopefully you also enjoy them and you find that they would be a good fit for somebody in your life. And before we jump into this video, please consider subscribing for more DIY and room makeover and Sorry Girls content. So first up, I'm gonna show you how to make something that I use like very often, and that is a DIY carry with you reusable utensil kit. We've mentioned these before on our channel because we've mentioned them like in our eco-friendly DIY videos and stuff, but we've ever actually made our own kit. And these are great because when you're out, then you don't have to use napkins and spoons and plastic, single-use plastic utensils because you have your own. So it feels really good, and you can make somebody else feel good when you gift it to them. So to do this DIY, you're going to need some reusable utensils, which I have here. The best part about DIYing it is that you can customize it because a lot of them, they might have like a spoon and fork, but they don't have like a knife or a straw. So this way you can have everything that you want in the kit. You can put it in the kit. You can get these online, bamboo cutlery. You can also just use metal ones that you already have. The only caution here is that it'll be a little bit heavier, and don't bring a metal knife on a plane when I use these when I travel. The other thing we're gonna need is some fabric, and you can buy fabric, but since we're eco-friendly over here, we're just gonna use some fabric that we have. And this is actually part of an apron, as you can tell, from I think a dollar store DIY that Becky did. I honestly don't remember which one, but I'm sure one of our lovely editors will put in a clip here so that we all remember which DIY this apron is from. So my first step is to deconstruct this so that I have a nice piece of square fabric. So in addition to chopsticks, spoon, fork, knife, straw, napkin I'm going to make, we're also gonna throw in some hand sanitizer, and because we wanna be cute and bougie and refillable, we have this little amber glass and eyedropper, which you can use as like the bougiest way to apply hand sanitizer ever. So I'm just gonna fill this up. And then if you buy like a larger one, you can just keep refilling this, or your gift recipient, I guess, because this is a gift. I keep thinking I'm making this for myself. I'm placing all of my utensils on here and then folding up the bottom to kind of make like a little bottom pocket. And once I know the size, I'm going to cut that out and then hem up all around the edges. And once that's done, I can bring back in all of my utensils and straw and figure out the size of slot for each of them, because then I'm going to pin and sew downwards to create a little pocket for each one. And I also made a little napkin with the leftover material because this way you don't have to use a paper napkin. Just saving everything. So I'm taking some of this canvasy ribbon and going across the inside of my utensil holder and just marking out where I want to put a little stitch so that things will sit more securely. I folded in the ends so that they didn't fray, and then went along and did those little stitches. I also added a little loop for my napkin at the top left-hand corner. And then the very last step is to add a ribbon on the back so that the whole thing can get tied together. So again, I'm taking that ribbon, and because I don't want it to fray, I'm just burning the edges with a match very carefully. I'm doing that very carefully. You have your warning. And then I'm just marking the back, kind of a center. I just want to make sure that I'm going over a stitch where there already is a stitch, so that when I go to slide on my knife, that I don't block the little pouch that I just made. And then once you do that, you can roll it up like so, and then just to add a little bow in the front. I think it's really cute. I love this linen-y material, so I definitely would suggest using like natural materials because they just look so good. Like here's the one I bought and here's the one I DIY'd, and I think that this one is way cuter. And I'm sure anyone would love to get as a little gift. And also mine doesn't have hand sanitizer or napkin, so jealous. So this next idea was inspired because I started taking some pottery classes, and when I was looking up things to make in pottery class, I found a bunch of these like matchstick holder striker combos, and I just thought they were so genius and so cute. Spoiler alert, I didn't end up making one in pottery class because I'm not at that skill level yet. But we're gonna try to make it today using some Sculpey oven bake clay. What you're gonna need for this, you're gonna need some strike anywhere matches if you also want this to be a striker. If you just want this to be a match holder, then I guess you can put your matches in it, but you'll need to keep the like striker that came with those matches nearby because it's like a chemical reaction. But strike anywhere matches are just like a friction reaction. So we have strike anywhere matches, and you can strike these almost anywhere on a frictionless surface. But I digress, I'm getting ahead of myself. So first step, we're going to make our match holder with some clay here. I first made a ball, and then I went ahead and opened the ball using my fingers and kind of shaped it into a little bowl. I low-key tried many different ways on how to make this. I tried like laying it over something. I tried just like making it from scratch, from like flat. None of those worked. So how do I make this? You can try it your own way, but I tried this way, which was starting with a ball. And then I also made a ball for the plate and then just kind of squished it outwards to make a nice little base. And then we're gonna go ahead and blend those two things together. I just went ahead and did lots of more blending so that you didn't see so many like bumpy fingerprints. And then the last thing I did was go around with an X-Acto knife and just made sure that the top was all even and that the outer plate was even. Now it's time to bake, and you can just set your oven to whatever your instructions say to set it to. And I baked mine for about 20 minutes, but again, it's gonna vary based on what kind of clay you're using. When it's out of the oven, it's time for some finishing touches. So I painted the inside and the outer edge with just a regular green acrylic paint because I didn't want the full thing to be white because I thought that was a little bit boring. Now it's time to add the striker part of our matchstick striker container. And to do this, we're actually mixing some good old sand and Mod Podge. So you're gonna mix those two together and then just put it on kind of like paint. And I did this on the plate portion of my holder here. Okay, so the match striker is almost dry. Oh yeah, not quite dry. And then you basically just need to make sure that you can feel the sand. But I'm gonna move on to pretty much the last step, and that's adding a glaze. There is a Sculpey glaze that kind of like is supposed to go with the clay. Obviously don't add the glaze to the striker part because then you will make it unstriky. You'll make it glossy. And then all you need to do is add your strike anywhere matches, and now your DIY is complete. And guess what? We have another little DIY that's gonna work perfectly with that. So with our match striker, a good combo gift is doing a candle. You can buy a candle. We showed you how to make candles from scratch. I think that was last year's gift DIY video. But this year we're gonna do a little bit of a hack just because sometimes you're running out of time and these are last minute DIYs. You can just buy a candle like so, but this isn't so interesting. And you can also go and pick up some beautiful glasses from the thrift store. This one is from the thrift store and it is literally so beautiful. But we can combine these and add a label to make something super special and bougie looking, but it wasn't very bougie and it didn't take you very long to make. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut our candle so that it's going to fit into this glass. So I went ahead and sawed my candle just using a fine-tooth saw, and I just cut it to a point where it would fit in the glass, and that when it melts, the candle will take up some of the room in the glass, so it's a little bit shorter than the top of the glass. Now, if you have the kind of candle that you can like pre-pull out the wick, because sometimes they're loose, I would suggest doing that. But if your wick is in there, then you're gonna have to do what I did, which is pick up some extra wicks and then glue that into the bottom of your glass. And then just slide your now shorter candle with a hole where the wick used to be onto that wick. And then you can wrap the wick up in a popsicle stick or something just to hold it in place and kind of keep it centered as it melts. And then we're just gonna take the whole thing and put that in the oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And then this might take 20 minutes, half an hour, kind of depends on your wax, your candle size, all that jazz. And you'll know when it's done when the wax is touching the sides and that it fills up the whole glass, because that's the point. We're trying to make it look like it was already in that glass. And when you take it out, you can go ahead and trim the wick. And the very last step is to add a label to make this the utmost bougie. So we're using these water resistant labels just because we want to make sure that if you like touch it with wet hands, it doesn't like smear the ink, and just the feeling is a lot more luxurious. So we picked up these, we will link them below, and then we just did like a very simple font and the right spacing just instantly looks bougie. We literally just hacked all of the expensive candles ever. Sorry, not sorry. We will have that template and the link to the labels linked below. And the template that we're giving you for the labels is totally editable. So you can add your own name, your hometown, wherever this candle is coming from. And this is a really simple way to turn like a no name, no brand candle into something a little bit more nicer and customized. Now we have a new candle that was hacked from an old candle. Did not take that very long at all. And if you were to bang out a bunch of these, well, you could use the leftover wax from when you're kind of chopping your candle to size. And you could buy a pack of glasses too, because when you get glasses at the thrift store, they usually come in like a pack. So that's our candle hack, and I think it's so cute. This paired with the Matchstick holder, This paired with the Matchstick holder is such a cute combo gift. For my last one, we're going to do a DIY Loom Kit because how wholesome is that? I'm sure everybody would love a DIY Loom Kit, and it's really easy for you to make. So all you're going to need is a thrifted everything. Have you noticed a theme here? We go to the thrift store a lot. And for this, all you need is a thrifted, or I guess you could buy one too, picture frame. And since ours is like a wood color and I didn't love it, we went ahead and painted it white. And once we have our white frame, the next step is to go ahead and add the nails. So I'm putting these nails 1/4 inch apart, and these are also 3/4 inch size nails. And the important thing is that they have a little head, which means that my little strings won't fall off of it. With all my nails nailed on the short side, top and bottom, I'm going to go ahead and move on to adding the strings. This is called warping the loom, which from somebody who doesn't really loom, it's kind of weird because it's like, why are you warping it? I don't get it. You're gonna tie one string off on the bottom of your outside nail and go up, wrap it around, come back down, wrap it around the next nail, up, wrap it around that nail, back down, guess what? Wrap it around that nail. You are really just going back and forth, wrapping your string. We used a thin little white string. You could also use a thin yarn as well. And when you reach the end, make sure you tie it off. And then your harp is done. Just kidding. And the fun part about this is that you're not actually making something, although that's a really good gift idea too. You can make this and then make a tapestry or a weaving, but really we're just making the kit so that when you gift it, somebody else can make it. So to complete our loom kit, you're going to need to add a couple of things. One is a shed stick. This is going to help us space out our threads here. And you could use a paint stick from the hardware store if you're feeling extra last minute, or you could go buy wood and get it cut to size and everything, but low key, this is a paint stick. Then the other thing you're going to need is a batten. Am I saying it right? Because apparently I say kitten, weird. Kitten, button. Somebody told me it's the way the millennials say it. Like we're so lazy, yeah. Button, batten. This helps like push your weaving downwards. And for this, we have a dowel here. Again, just cut to size, but I think this actually came the right size because I don't think anybody cut this. And you just want this a little bit bigger than your whole loom here. And then the last thing, well, there's 2 more things you're gonna need to add to your kit. One is a needle. To make this, we're just taking a large like tongue, is it a suppressor? Depressor? Is it suppressed or depressed? What are you, popsicle stick? And we're going to cut the front so that it's more of a point, and then also just drill a little hole in it so it actually acts as a needle. And then of course you're gonna wanna add the yarn of your choice so that the gift recipient can actually go ahead and make something. And we're gonna link tutorials below that you can therefore send to your recipient. Some simple tutorials to follow on how to make a loom. It's not self-promo because we don't have a weaving tutorial, but maybe one day we will. Actually just gonna manifest that. One day we will, period, not question mark. Thanks for watching this video where we round up some DIY gifts. Of course, we have lots of DIYs on our channel that you can also use as gifts, as well as some videos from years past where we've done DIY last minute gifts. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.